may be the biggest thing that's ever happened.
Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Wherever liberty is threatened, you will find
The three AmiVO's. Dave McRae, Garnet Williams, Mike Pongracz. Separately, they are humble Canadian voiceover superstars. Together, they are the three AmiVO's.
Ladies and gentlemen.
here we go.
And now, the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast.
Everyone ready?
I'm telling you, all you gotta do, get the cantaloupe, put it in the microwave.
But how long do I put it in there for?
More than 4 minutes.
All right.
That was the worst non sequitur we've ever started the show with.
The
And
hell?
we're back.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour Podcast.
4 minutes,
Oh,
eh?
wow, that's impressive.
4
I
minutes.
am
And 2 minutes to rest after cooking.
And 2 minutes to rest.
in front of me, AmiVO Garnet Williams.
Ole.
To my left, AmiVO Dave McRae.
Olay.
and I'm still AmiVO Mike. That was funny.
Still.
Thank you.
Cantaloupe.
That was
Thank
good.
you. No honeydew. Cantaloupe.
That
Well,
was
you
good,
are
Garnet.
the resident foodie, so I will.
You are.
Don't
You
know
are.
how much that has to do with what we were
I will
talking
sort of
about.
lend that to you.
Thank you.
You are the resident foodie. You are the resident film maker, buff, filmographer,
Filmographer.
philanthropist.
Philanthropist. I am the resident.
Philosopher.
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 Filmosopher.
Philosopher.
Oh, very good.
That sounds
very
like
good.
that sounds like a drunken response.
Filmosopher. It does.
Where are you
It
coming?
does.
I was coming from the film office.
I was just down there. I'm a filmosopher.
Oh wow! And I'm
So
just
what do
the,
you guys think of the Star Wars trailer, right? It was pretty
I'm just the
good.
resident. I'm the resident nerd. That's all. Which actually will be interesting because our guest on the show today, I have an inkling
Yes.
that our guest today is a bit of a nerd. And I
She
don't mean
is.
that in a bad way.
No, not
I don't-
at all.
But just based on
Yes.
on posts and,
Yes.
and seeing how her VO Peeps, now I've given away who the guest is.
Yes, you have.
Her VO Peeps meetups go from
Yeah.
a technical standpoint. I think, even though George Whittam is involved,
Yes.
I think she's a nerd.
I think she is.
Which all of a sudden,
Which
her
is
stock,
good.
her stock was already high in my opinion,
Yes.
has now jumped tenfold. So, yes, later on in the program, our guest today, Anne Ganguzza, joins us all the way from Orange County, California,
I'm looking forward to that.
where
It's gonna be some good shit
a
right there.
lot warmer than it is here right now
Word,
in AmiVO
Michael,
headquarters.
Word.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year, boys.
2015.
Which is it's kind of it's scary to think how fast 2014 went.
It's scary to think how fast the last 20 years have gone. I mean, it's
Speaking of which,
it
Star
just
Wars
seems like
trailer? Oh,
1995.
let's-
Yes,
we just
Star.
gotta do
I'm
Star
telling
Wars.
you,
Okay.
Star
We're gonna go back
Wars.
to-
The
Yeah.
Force Awakens. Garnet's got this look on his face like, if we're not talking about Thundercats, I don't want to hear about it.
It's
it is-
G.I. Joe and
Oh,
shut
I'm
up.
sorry.
It is 2015. 2015 or 2015, whichever way you want to say it, which
Or 2015.
based on a lot of the social media posts, it's that time of year now where everybody is sort of sweeping away, the good, the bad, and the ugly of last year,
Losing
and
weight.
looking forward to, yeah. And I'm finding it. That's the sad thing.
Shut up.
Oh, shut up!
You can wear anything.
Have you
it.
seen Mike in a Speedo?
I was just gonna say. Yeah, not a chance. But I'm seeing a lot of the social media posts now. People talking about 2015. You know,
yeah.
That's right.
Getting things in line. Brand new year.
Resolutions, if you will.
Yeah. So
Goals and dreams.
goals. I like goals and dreams better than resolutions.
Yes.
Because resolutions always has
continue.
this real.
Well, they fail.
Well, yeah, I feel like there's with a resolution, I feel like I'm obligated to, I have to follow through with it.
Oh, I see.
Okay, all right. So cutting to the chase here,
Yeah.
and because you have an issue with the word resolution for some
Because
damn reason.
Garnet's just too damn impatient.
Yeah, because you know what? The setup is taking way too long. We just got into 2015. I'd like to get to the end of the bit before 2016. 16.
I think you had to go.
Oh,
Jesus.
So going around the
You'd
table.
think you had to go to the bathroom or something.
No,
Okay.
no, we're going around the table, and we're going to start with Dave, because nobody ever starts with Dave. So starting with Dave, 3 goals you have for 2015. Oh, man. And nothing about Star Wars. I mean, voiceover goals.
Not like would have shared that same goal.
Not like to camp out and be first in line at your local Cineplex.
Oh, I've already got a sleeping bag there.
But do you have your scene card?
I do have my scene card.
That's good.
I do.
The guy always tells me that you need a scene card. I like that guy.
That guy is so annoying.
He's an asshole.
He's a dick. I've met him a couple times. It's Mike.
No, he's the scene card guy. Dave's the
I thought
scene
you
card.
both did those.
No, I tell people to turn their cell phones off. He tells people to bring your scene card to win a whole bunch of stuff.
No, I thought you did some of those too.
Oh, I think they're in some of the promo stuff.
Whatever. Anyway, Dave,
Okay.
3 goals, Dave.
That's too many.
One
3
goal.
goals? Let's go 1 goal.
One goal.
One
is,
goal?
is
Okay.
to
What's
is
the big
to
goal?
make Garnet realize that I do the scene stuff. The other goal is to get rid of this cold. The other goal, okay, voiceover goals for 2015.
Yeah.
I would like to. I'd like to get another network under my belt.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good goal to have.
Yes, I would like to do that. I will say this: there was some buzz going around that I may be on board for another channel.
Oh, that's great.
The Smithsonian channel, but it's not a definite thing yet.
Okay.
So it's still kind of talk.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I mean, your answer could have gone 2 ways. You want to find a new network because apparently this network here
Ain't working
ain't
for me.
working for you.
It ain't working, ladies and gentlemen. So I'd like to get another network under my belt, and I wouldn't mind. I just started narrating "What's for Sale with a View," which will air on Cottage Life this spring.
Yes.
I believe April or something like that. I also wouldn't mind getting another show as well. You can't have too many shows.
This is true.
And just continuing to pursue. Yeah, I guess. What the fuck are you laughing at, big boy?
Because I said 3, and then you both said 1, and now he's done 3.
Have I done 3?
Yeah, another network, another show, and you were about to go into the 3rd, and that's what made me laugh. I thought we were doing 1, but now we're back to 3.
Well, there
of
goes
course.
3, which
Well,
was
I just thought we were
which
doing
was
3.
put Garnet on a higher pedestal than I already have him on. Wow, apparently that's
Sit
not
on it
important
and
for him.
Sit on it and rotate, boy.
So another network, a network,
A network.
Yeah, another show,
Another show. Another network. Another show.
and your 3rd.
And my 3rd would be in voiceover. We're talking about, right?
Yes.
I'd like to land an animated series.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't think that's
Those are 3 achievable goals. I would
3
say.
achievable
Very
goals.
achievable goals.
Outside of those goals, continuing to, do what we do.
I like see, and I'm not as specific. I'm not as specific.
No.
Not as specific.
Smoking a
No,
pack.
Bong and a blitz. I think my big thing this year, and it's something that I meant to do more
Buy another
of
house.
last year. Is buy another house. Get another web domain. Put another website up. Why not? No, I think for me, I really want to put a new focus on taking things south of the border a little bit more.
Oh, shit. You know what? Throw me in there. Throw me in there because
So,
that
four-
is good.
Cantaloupe, 4 minutes.
No, that is good. Throw me in that shit because you know what? And here's a goal. Here's something I want to say.
Angry Dave's here.
To expand the 3 AmiVO's brand even
South of the
further.
border.
Yes.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the time is now. I think for me at the stage of career that I'm in, I would like to be able to play in some different sandboxes down there. And and the great thing about this past year was that I think for all of us, it was a good year for expanding our network and people outside of our little AmiVO headquarters.
That's right.
Knowing who we are and
true.
what we do. I mean,
true.
which it's unfortunate that the whole FAFCON. I hate to open that old wound, but I'm going to.
It's a hell of a deep wound, ladies and gentlemen.
But I think what
There's some
people
salt right
discovered
there.
is that Garnet
Salt and
and I
vinegar.
are kind of like the Canadian Abbott and Costello.
You are the three AmiVO's.
We are. Angry Dave.
I know. I told you he was
No,
here.
no.
He's here.
No, look.
The subtly bitter Dave is also here.
No, look.
Wha-
I
hang on.
am the drummer in this band.
Okay, hold that thought. We're gonna talk to Anne Ganguzza. Oh, so we gotta no.
We'll
let's
do mine
do yours
at
at
the
the
end.
end. But I want to. Don't forget that drum reference, okay? Because I
All right.
want to bring something up that AmiVO Garnet and I
got it.
talked about the other day.
All right.
Which I chuckled and kind of winced at the same time.
Okay.
Anne Ganguzza joins us all the way from the West Coast, where it is a whole lot warmer than it is here. She will join us on the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast when we get back.
We didn't even hear what Garnet
We said we're going to do Me and Wait.
Oh, okay.
The end of the show.
I need to take a Tylenol.
When we get back.
The three AmiVO's.
Warning. We'll be right back.
Changing the voiceover industry one toque at a time.
We're gonna take a little break, but we'll be back in a while, so don't nobody go nowhere.
And now,
And now it's time for another three AmiVO's fun fact.
Hey everyone, AmiVO Dave here. Happy New Year to you. It is now officially 2015. Here's a quick fun fact for you. My hat goes off to those of you who can speak French, especially in voiceover. I, unfortunately, am not one of them. I was so bad in French and am so bad with French that in high school, I was actually removed from my French class. My grade 9 French class, I was removed. I was so bad, my marks were so low that my guidance counselor basically came up to me and said, yeah, Dave, you know what, you suck, and not just suck, like really suck. It's so low that there's really no point to even being in the class. So we think that maybe you're better suited if we remove you, and maybe we give you a period where, you just do homework, projects, things like that. So yeah, I was removed. Now, I don't know if it's still like this, but when I was in high school, in order to graduate, you had to have at least one language credit, and I didn't have it. So I had to go to night school in grade 12 and take a travel and tourism course to make up the extra credit. Thank God they didn't make me go and get a language credit. I'd still be in high school now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. In voiceover, when somebody can say, hey, I can do the French copy and the English copy, I think that's awesome. Me? It's not happening. And now, back to the show.
From the land where it's perfectly okay to say nice beaver. The three AmiVO's.
And we're back!
There you go. So you're very good at that. When I let you do that.
You let me do
When I
that.
let you-
You let me?
Actually,
you
I
ain't let me do nothing. I don't
think-
want to do myself.
I think Garnet has done it more times now than you have.
I think he has. I think I'll
Sort
just go.
of
I'll
the
go back
tides
to
have
being.
turned now a bit,
I'll go
you
back
know
to
what I
being
mean?
the Segway guy.
Well,
Exactly,
all
exactly.
my fans say that it is becoming my catchphrase.
You mean your fan?
You're one fan.
You dicks, both of you.
And that one fan, I think, is actually on the phone. Welcome back to the Three AmiVO's Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast. Sorry, the Three AmiVO's and Friends.
The AmiVO's and Friends,
Yes.
super
I thought it was
fantastic
the three
happy
of
hour,
them.
but no, never has been.
This is what happens
Welcome
when we
to the
don't
show.
when we don't
AmiVO's,
do
it's the AmiVO's and Friends
Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast.
Right.
Okay. Are we? Am I on?
No, I think that's right.
You know what? You know what I need? I need a lesson in marketing. That's my. That's what I need.
What are we in now? Like 13 or 14 show is now?
I know.
We should know this.
Branding, not my strong suit, apparently. But
King
Segway
of the
guy.
Segway!
Oh,
I see what you did there.
See.
That was good.
This is why we get experts in the field.
That's right.
Because at least 1/3 of us is not much of an expert.
Exactly.
So joining us all the way from where it is so opposite what we have right now out here outside of AmiVO headquarters.
Yes.
How warm is it where you are, Anne?
I'd say it's about 72 right about now, and sunny.
That's
Okay, so that's
pretty good.
Carry
So
the
jealous.
4, convert that with Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
On the line all the way. Now you're in Orange County, correct?
I am. Yes,
Orange
I am.
County, California, and Ganguzza joins the show.
Thank you, guys. I'm so honored. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, this is-
we're honored to have you on.
and
I mean, really, if you think about it.
I have to tell you, I'm so excited. And you're asking me that, how warm it is out here. I don't know if you know this, but I am an East Coast girl originally from upstate New York. So very close to the Canadian border. As a matter of fact, when in my younger years, I used to traverse the border because the drinking age was younger.
That's true.
Yes.
Than in New York State, because that's where I grew up.
So whereabouts in upstate New York did you grow up?
Rochester, New York.
Rochester, yeah.
Yep. So, I'm used to the cold and and the snow, and I love it out there in Canada. Love it.
Yeah, you love it now because
because I'm not in the cold.
That's right.
Now, Anne is. I will toot your horn first before we get you to give us more background other than just Rochester. But Anne, you have quite the. I don't want to say reputation because that sounds. That sounds
no. Don't say that, Mike.
You are held in high regard by a great many of voice talent, both behind the mic and in front of the mic. That it's very exciting to have you on the show. One guy who said to me nothing but immense praises was Joe Cipriano.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I was just going to say, and Joe dotes about you. So about. I got to keep that in check. Dotes about you. So, but Anne, tell us, give us a little bit of a background. Other than you made the trek from Rochester, New York, all the way out to Orange County. What's your background?
Well, actually, I like to consider myself, I've always kind of thought of myself as the blue-collar VO person. I came from a corporate background and actually came from 20 years in corporate IT and also education. So I have a strong background in technology, and I still love technology. I've been known to say that, I would marry the internet if I could. That's how much I love technology and the internet. So I guess it stands to reason that I'm fairly well versed in online, technology and social media skills. Simply because I've been working in it for so long. I was actually on the internet before the World Wide Web. Back in like the early 1990s, before the web even started. I was using CompuServe. Oh my God! Now I'm dating myself. But like CompuServe and AOL and the bulletin boards and Archie and Gopher and all that good stuff. So I
just totally had a huge flashback right now. That's when you said Archie and Gopher. That's,
I know, right?
Next thing you're going to start bringing up Lycos and web crawler and
exactly.
And these two guys are looking at me like I'm a big giant nerd right now.
Well, you are, but you just reinforced it.
And I absolutely love that, So I get it. So I started off in IT, and actually what happened is I used to install voice over IP phone systems back in the late 1990s when they first started coming out, and where I was in New Jersey, we had one of the largest early installations of voice over IP phone systems, and we used to install phones, on other school campuses, government institutions, nonprofits, and I was the project manager. And essentially, we would install all these phones, and I would go to the client and say, "Okay, you're all set. You just need to record that welcome greeting and your phone tree." And they would always just look at me and just crack up and laugh, and they're like, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. You'll do that, right?" So by default, I was the one who was recording the welcome greeting, and I recorded hundreds of welcome greetings, and I found that in working in IT for so long, I actually carried a pager around. So again, I'm dating myself, but I was on call like 24/7, and
you also had a big giant Zach Morris phone too, didn't you? That's right. No, you did.
I did. And so I would actually, when I would go to record these greetings and messages, I would lock myself in an office, and that was like bliss for me, because when I was in that office with the door shut, because at that time you had to actually pick up the phone to record into it. You couldn't just upload a WAV file or MP3. So I had to pick up the phone, and so I had to lock myself in the office where it was quiet, and it was wonderful because nobody at that point could call me up and complain that their network was down, their internet wasn't working, their computer was broken, and I just absolutely loved it. And I started creating these phone voices, and And that sounds bad, doesn't it? But I created all of these voices for phone systems, and I just fell in love with it. And I had some people that after they would listen to my voicemail, they would say, "Wow, you sound so professional." So I heard that, of course, a few times, and I decided to just kind of buckle down and go take some acting lessons, voice acting lessons, got my demo made, and then I started working voiceovers part-time.
So now, what when you went from just recording into the phone, how did you know which way to go for the next step? I mean, obviously, when you were still in New Jersey at that point, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
So,
yes, I was.
So how does somebody that at that point, oh, you've got a great sound, you should do something. How did you know to make that next step, or know where to go to make that next step?
Well, I actually started researching. Of course, I Googled it. Well, back in the day, I Googled it.
You went on Netscape, and
I did Netscape or Xmosaic. And,
wow! Okay.
See, and I looked for training facilities in the area, and then I had gotten my training, created a demo, and then I started to actually, because it was late 1990s, early 2000s, and so I had some relatives, believe it or not, that owned a production company. So that was kind of a start where
very nice.
I got my start, in the family there, and I utilized that, and because I had already recorded phone greetings for hundreds of clients, I could kind of say, hey, that was my experience. And so I started doing voiceovers for some local people that I knew, and I started really trying to network heavily with production companies and locations in the East Coast to kind of build up my clientele. But I was still working full time in corporate IT. And I'll tell you, I always tell people, like, if you can work VO part time, I mean, bless you, because it's so tough to really discipline. You have to really, really discipline yourself, because especially when you're first starting out, it's you have to work so hard in marketing yourself. And when I was on the East Coast, I was working hard marketing myself, but you have to really make a concentrated effort to spend time doing the marketing. I mean, other than just my few contacts that I started out with, the clients didn't come to me. I mean, I had to go find them.
Right.
And ultimately, after my start in working part-time voiceovers, when it came time to move to the West Coast, my husband actually had a job transfer. I made the decision after 20 years in IT, well, kind of been there, done that. I'd like to really give it a go to do voiceovers full-time. And I knew that in going from the West Coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast, I had to really ramp up my marketing, because, I had established clients on the East Coast and I wanted to maintain them.
Right.
And I also wanted to, when I moved, I wanted to be able to get new clients on the West Coast and build up that list. And so I had to get really good at marketing. And I also went from a salaried position to, zero.
Yes.
$0.
Yeah.
And there's no better motivation, let me tell you, no better motivation to get your marketing butt in gear than, going from a salaried position to, oh my God, where's my next, where's my paycheck coming from?
With technology now, it's so easy. Thank you. It's so easy for, any Jack or Jill to buy a microphone.
Right.
Say they want to be a voice actor or
especially
voice talent.
today.
Right.
But you presented right there the actual way to be successful, I think, in this business, which I don't know if it's lost on the greater mass or if it's just not being presented by people that have sort of come before them. That it's not just a matter of, hey, I'd like to do crazy voices, so I'm gonna put a website together and I'm gonna go be the next Maurice LaMarche.
You've got to have a real strong business sense if you want to have any sort of successful career.
You do. You do.
I mean, it's just.
Which comes back to the fact that, talent is, having the talent is one facet of it.
That's right.
But having a business sense and treating your actual career as a business.
As a business, that's
as
right.
opposed to just a hobby, which is, when you get the term hobbyist thrown around, I think that's the real definition. A hobbyist being somebody that, I like to do it. I like to dabble. If I make a couple of bucks here and there, great. Yeah. But it's the fact, if you want to make a business of this or make a career of it, and a successful one, you have to treat it like a business with a business plan,
Absolutely.
with training, with experience, all that stuff wrapped together.
And surrounding yourself with the right people people
Exactly.
who can make that happen.
Which Anne seems to have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Now, I just wanted to touch on one thing, when you're talking about splitting the two careers, which is, I think, something. There's a lot of people, especially you can see it online in some of the groups, where there are part-time voice talent who have full-time jobs that are trying to break in. What was your experience with, being able to juggle a boss that wants you focused 100% on your IT career, yet at the same time you're working to try and go, make your part-time career in voice a full-time? What was the challenge, or what were the challenges that you faced with that, and how did you sort of smooth both sides so that you weren't sort of...
Well, absolutely, a challenge was time, and I was fortunate when I started. I mean, I didn't have children, and I need to kind of put that out there, because if you have children or family obligations, it makes it that much more difficult, because time is really probably one of the biggest issues when you're working full time and then trying to embark on a voiceover career part time. But I will say that I would never recommend to anybody to just quit their, obviously to quit their day job and just go into voiceovers full time.
See, that children thing, that's exactly why I resent both my kids today.
Well, at least we've got that documented.
Well,
Honesty
no,
is the best
I just want to
policy.
say that wasn't that particular part of my schedule wasn't necessarily, it wasn't an issue for me. But I do understand how anybody that has a full-time job and a family, time is of course a big consideration in terms of being able to allocate hours to watching or growing your business. And so at that time that was not an issue. So I would spend a good part of my day working, because I did work in IT, and so it was hard for me to actually do anything during the day for my voiceover career. But I would absolutely come home at night and dedicate hours to research and contacting people and doing auditions at the time.
Right.
So, that's, and it was something that I had to actually sit down and schedule into my time in order to be successful.
Again, scheduling is being that whole part of the business sense. And,
Absolutely.
And realizing that you have to have some sort of structure to your
That's right.
to your career.
And like I said earlier, surrounding yourself, half the battle of success is surrounding yourself with the right people.
Exactly. And
which
I'll
is
tell
very
you,
important.
The right peeps, if you will.
The right peeps. That's
there
a
you
great
go.
segue.
Now who's the segue guy?
I love it, you guys. Thank you, guys. So yeah, that's the perfect segue into when I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast. I was concentrating on obviously networking, face-to-face networking, as well as networking online and being able to build an online presence so that my clients would be able to find me no matter where they were. That would be my online presence, and then also building new relationships once I got out west, because I truly believe that there's so much credibility for face-to-face networking as well as social media networking. And I guess I'm kind of known for my online social media networking skills, but I am a big proponent of face-to-face networking, which is one of the reasons when I moved out here, I went for I went again for training when I moved out west, because I wanted to meet people, and meeting instructors and people in the industry just fell into, working out with people and taking lessons and being coached. And so that was part of my networking. And then, I took a series of voiceover classes locally here in Orange County. And afterwards, I remember, sitting with my classmates and just kind of saying, let's get together for dinner, and because we were done with the class, and we're like, okay, so now what do we do?
We'll never see each other again.
We're never going to see each, and then now what do we do? How do we go get a job? That kind of thing. So none of us knew what we were supposed to do next. I started getting together with groups of people out here and just talking about, well, okay, so now we're here, we've been trained, we've got our demos, now what do we do? And so that was kind of the start of VO Peeps. And I realized that, with a background in teaching and in education, I also wanted to be able to lead a group. And so I decided that I wanted my group to be more than just friends that met up once a month. I wanted it to mean a little bit more, and I wanted to bring education to the group, and I wanted to also market myself in the process. And what better way to market yourself to people that you look up to in the industry, top industry professionals, than, having guest speakers. And, that's a great opportunity for me to, just go up to Joe Cipriano and say, hey, Mr. Cipriano, I have a meetup group and I would love it. I would be so honored if you could, speak, and be a guest speaker. And so that allowed me to go out and network with top industry professionals. And in reality, not only was it a great face-to-face networking effort and meet up with my friends, it was really a really concentrated marketing effort so that I could become known as well in the industry.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that became my VO Peeps group. So I actually started in 2009, and I've been going pretty strong since.
And I mean, meetup groups now, it's funny because recently, if you look at some of the Facebook groups, there's a greater number of people that are sort of discovering, hey, we look at the VO Peeps, we look at Cliff Zellman's Dallas VO meetup group, and wow, we should have one of these where we are. Because in all honesty, I mean, while a great number of the name talent are in the major cities, the New Yorks, the LAs, the Chicagos, the Torontos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But there are a lot of pockets of, because voiceover has become so global because of technology, that there are a lot of pockets of voice actors that are working in their little small 4x6 booths in the middle of rural Midwestern United States
Lima,
and Canada.
Ohio, for example.
Yeah, and just who are looking for like-minded people. So
absolutely.
So for people that want to start a meetup group, what's one of the first things what's one of the first things you would suggest somebody that wants to start a meetup group to do?
Well, there's lots of wonderful online resources. Meetup.com comes to mind first. Although I will tell you that VO Peeps is not on Meetup.com, but that's kind of just a minor oversight. The only reason it's not is because I didn't want to. You have to pay a fee for that on a monthly basis, and with a background in technology, I kind of I know how to write web pages. So I decided to just purchase the domain name and create a website for VO Peeps as it was. But anybody can do some research, and it's actually gotten quite easy to create a web page even if you didn't want to use Meetup.com. And there's so many online resources right now out there with voiceover people that you have access to that you could advertise, and you could say, hey, I'm starting a meetup group in this area, and create a Facebook group. I mean, it used to be Meetup.com, but now I think that social media has really given people an avenue to really connect, especially people in the voiceover industry. There's already some really wonderful groups out there. Voiceover Pros is one of them with Dave Cavassier and Terry Daniel, and that's a very substantially large group. And I also have a VO Peeps Facebook group, which is close to 1,000 members. And one of the aspects of the meetup group, now that we've grown, we've gotten bigger, and we've become global, I think that it's a responsibility for us as a group to give back even more if we can. And then that is why the scholarship fund was born out of the group. You beat me to the
segue. You really did there. No, so, but go on, because since you've started,
yes.
you've raised a pretty significant amount of money for the scholarships in the north end of $20,000.
Yes, thank you.
From a meetup group, which if somebody's sort of on the outside looking out, like, wow, like that's pretty impressive. So now the monies from the scholarships, who do those monies go to, or like what kind of a person does VO Peeps look for to sort of take advantage of that scholarship?
Well, we have two different types of scholarship. It's a need-based scholarship and a financial need-based scholarship, as well as just typical one-on-one coaching scholarships that we raffle off to raise money.
Right.
So it really depends on the donation that's given, and it's really kind of convenient. It's very nice because most of my guests, when they come on the show, I will ask them if they would be interested in donating, and people are just, it's such a generous, wonderful, kind community. I'm sure people have said that on the show before, but I will will emphasize it again. I mean, it's just a wonderful community that we're in, and giving. And so everybody that I've ever asked for a donation, every guest speaker that I've asked has been so kind and generous in donating their time and resources to the fund. And so there will be, for the most part, I'll have a scholarship for every meetup that I do. So I just had a meetup with Elaine Clark, and this past weekend, and she donated an hour coaching. And most of my guests will donate something like that. And in that case, I'm able to sell raffle tickets for whatever monetary amount. Usually I sell them for $10, and that money will go towards the scholarship fund. And then we'll do a drawing at the end of that. Right. And then we'll have other bigger scholarships that people will have to apply for, and it will be based on I have different criteria, but for the most part it's based on financial need. And so they'll fill out an application, they'll actually speak they'll record their application, and they'll have an audio file of that, and then there might be an audition or two that I have them select from as well, and then I'll have a judging panel that will determine who the winner is. And those are for, usually for the bigger conferences. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 scholarships coming up for VO Atlanta coming up in March, and they're going to be the largest scholarships that we've ever done, and they're going to be national and international. And oh, wow. So what's really cool is that, Gerald Griffith has been, so kind to donate VIP registrations to the conference, and I will, from the cash fund that we have from the scholarship, I will kick in a travel allowance. Right. So for an international person that really wants to get to a conference, we can theoretically provide them with a VIP registration as well as travel expenses and hotel. So that's where when I sell the raffle tickets and I get the cash donations, that all goes into the pot for things like that. And as you had mentioned, I'm super, super proud of this fund. It's a big part of my heart, and I started it back in January of 2012, and since then we've raised over $23,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. And when you think of the VO Peeps as of right now, and you think of where you want it to go, where would you like to see it go?
Oh,
what would you like to happen?
I appreciate that question, because I actually, I eat, breathe, and dream about the Peeps, I think.
Absolutely.
And so, ultimately, I just want it to grow, obviously, bigger, but I'm also looking to improve the technology. As I mentioned before, that we stream our meetups live. And so right now I have, the capability to have a couple of cameras and up to 5 audio sources. And it's really, I think, technologically, because the tech girl in me says, oh yeah, let's just get bigger, better, more technology. And but I want it to be an immersive experience for people, and I've been including my global peeps even more. Like when I started, I remember it was with my laptop and my Logitech webcam on the coffee table, and I don't even want to tell you what microphone it was, but I started broadcasting like that, and then as I grew, I started to invest a little bit more in equipment, and with the help of George Whittam, who is just I absolutely can't say enough good things about George Whittam.
Really? I never got that sense from meeting George. I mean, he just seems like such a curmudgeon, unhelpful.
And I'll tell you, I am so, I have to know, I have to know the technology. And so George has trained me in being able to do this. That will allow me to, it will allow me to include the global community more. That's where I really want to grow in the technology. I've always been a big proponent of technology and learning and education, and so I like to just stay on the bleeding edge.
Well, it's funny, you led me right into what I was going to ask you. It's about the technical side of things. I mean, you're very well versed in sort of the technology. You've learned how to use, I mean, not only for the Peeps purposes for the video as well, but I'm assuming you know your way around a digital audio workstation fairly well. And how important is that now for new voice actors, for people that are coming from corporate, the corporate side, who don't, well, I've got a great voice, I think I've got the skills. How important is it for them to? We know.
I mean, unless of course you've got the money to pay somebody to do it for you. But I think that for the most part, when you're first getting into the industry, you really need to be able to deal with technology. You can't be afraid of it. And I know there's a lot of people who are afraid of it, and it's technology is meant to be broken once in a while, and I mean, it just happens. I mean, I had a show this past Saturday, and our stream dropped 5 times.
Hence the picture of George looking
Yes.
looking
Exactly.
like, what
Bewildered.
the hell's going on here?
Exactly. It happened. It does happen. And so, but it's okay, and don't let that stop you from starting your voiceover business.
Annie, I want to get away from the technology for a second,
Sure.
just because you've gone on about the networking and going global and all this stuff. But at the heart of it, you're a voice actor.
Yes.
When you're not doing all the other stuff that the Peeps is, growing and expanding and taking up all your time, do you still get jazzed about just going into the studio and voicing stuff?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about the challenge and the success in watching things grow, and the failures as well, because I learn every single time. I mean, again, it's running my business, it's going out, it's getting the client.
What is your specialty, by the way? Everybody's got, I do narration, or I do commercials, or I do some animation here and there. What's
your wheelhouse?
Yeah, what's your wheelhouse, and what do you really get jazzed about?
Oh, my wheelhouse it has always been telephony and IVR.
Yeah.
So, because that's kind of how I started, and I absolutely love it because nobody really wants to listen to that recorded voice message, and I know that. And so to me, that's the challenge. That just makes me sweeter and kinder and warmer when I'm recording on hold messaging or that phone tree. But I do get the majority of my work is telephony and IVR, as well as e-learning, because I love to teach. Again, anything that gets me passionate is good for my niche and my voice, because e-learning, if I love to learn, it's going to come out in my voice. The passion is going to come out in my voice, and so that just really works well for me because I love to teach. E-learning is just a perfect fit for me, as well as corporate narration. And I think probably one of my most favorite e-learning gigs was, an automotive diesel module. Now, what did I know about automotive?
Now that
diesel?
sounds exciting,
Right? 44 modules of automotive diesel. What did I know? Nothing. I knew nothing. But the fact of the matter is that I learned as I was, doing all of those modules, and I get excited about learning, and so that just helps my voice. It helps to keep the passion in my voice, and it just works for me. It works for me.
WWAGD. What would Anne Ganguzza do?
Oh, there you go.
I'm ordering my
I like
license
that.
plate now.
I like that. I'm going to have to write that down. Maybe I'll get that for my next plate.
And you are an absolute delight. Congratulations on all the success with not only your personal career, but I mean the voiceover Peeps. It's a lot of fun. I mean, if you're part of the group, it's a closed group, but maybe see if Anne will let you come and join in. I'm sure she might.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of fun. You have some great food spreads that I see, which
Yes,
makes
I
me
do.
jealous because I would love to hop on a plane and get out to one of these meetups just
You are
for the food
absolutely
alone.
invited.
Just for the food alone.
And I see. I am a marketer because my poor husband, he's an awesome cook, and I just can't not market that. Sometimes I wonder if people are coming, for the meetup, or if they're coming for my husband's food. But you guys
Don't
are
ask that
always-
question. Don't ask that question because
That's
you
right.
might not want to know what the answer is.
It does, you know what? It doesn't even matter because I get the people. So right?
That's true.
that's my business. So I invite you guys, to come, please. I will host a special event just for you.
Oh, see.
if you were to ever make it out this way. And
AmiVO's South.
Oh,
Yes.
Mevo South. I like that.
exactly. Or
We should
that
establish
I'm
a base.
you
in
know that I'm a tech
California.
girl, so I'm happy to have a whole video conference with you guys as well for a meetup or an event,
that's
or a
awesome.
workout. I think that would be fantastic.
We would love to do
I
that.
tell you, when going back, sort of bringing it full circle with the Joe Cipriano, Graham Spicer, who last year, I think it was around this time last year, won a special little 1 hour consultation with Joe Cipriano. But
Yes.
at the time, Graham there was some reason, and then he talked to me and he said, Mike, I would love for you.
Oh, that's right. He donated.
I would love for you to take this and chat with Joe. And I got to say, like, that 90 minutes of time with Joe was hugely influential. And
fantastic.
Plus, he's such an awesome guy, and getting to know him on a personal level. He got me out to the Poker Classic this year, which was in itself was an amazing time. So I need to bring these other two guys with me for the next one. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I can't say enough good things about Joe too. Working with Joe was a pleasure to work with. When I did the meetup for his book launch, I mean, it was so much fun. I mean, I actually, I had 2 rooms for that event. It was so popular. And I think that Joe Cipriano promoted, the meetup as hard as I did. And so he's just wonderful. I mean, I can't say enough good about him, and his Living on Air book is just phenomenal. And I love the audio version of Living on Air. He's got it so interactive. It's fantastic. Although
I would never, ever, ever play a game of tennis for money with him. I don't trust him. I think he's a ringer. Just saying. So,
Annie, as we're heading out, you want to say anything to people, like where they can find you, where they can be part of things, get all their peeps info, news?
Absolutely. VOPeeps.com. All information at VOPeeps.com. And, I implore people to just click on that membership tab and please fill out the membership form so you can get yourself on the list, and I can, let you know when events are happening. And I would love to have you. And even if you're not local to Orange County, please, we are a global membership. So please fill that out and get on that list of special peeps. And I invite everybody, please.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Anne Ganguzza, everybody.
Yay!
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Anne. And,
thank you, Anne.
please
You were a pleasure.
Send some of that warmth and heat this way. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it, Anne. Thank you.
We'll be back to wrap up this episode of the AmiVO's and Friends. See, I got it right. Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast next.
The 3 AmiVO's.
Warning. We'll be right back.
Changing the voiceover industry 1 toque at a
We're
time.
gonna take a little break, but we'll be back in a while, so don't nobody go nowhere.
Here's another 3 AmiVO's iceberg tip.
Hey there, it's AmiVO Mike. Hooray for a brand new year, but let's kick things off with a dose of reality, shall we? VO, for as much fun as it is and all the camaraderie that goes with the community, it's still a business. Remember that saying, it's not personal, it's just business? Well, it still applies to us. Didn't get booked for that national gig? It's not personal, it's just business. Didn't get accepted at that agency you applied to? It's not personal, it's just business. Didn't make the voice blah blah blah.com/whatever top 100 best VO actors of 2014? It's not personal, it's just, well, you get the picture. You see, it's awesome to have a community that's as nurturing and giving as ours is. But at the end of the day, we are all still independent contractors who needs to pays the bills, yo. Getting bent out of shape at what your VO friends are booking, or why such and such agent won't take you on, or how come I'm not part of the cool kids groups, won't help you succeed. Focus on the one thing you can control. You. The bottom line is, ask yourself realistically, what do you want out of VO? A hobby, a part-time income, a full-time career? Now ask yourself the harder question. Are you good enough to achieve said goal? Now, I'm not talking, do you have the time, desire, or passion to do this? Guys, let's be honest here. A passionate piece of crap is still a piece of crap. Let's not sugarcoat this. Do you have the talent, the chops, the skills to achieve your specific goal? If you can honestly answer that question, then you won't take it so personally if someone doesn't want to do business with you. Huh? See what I did there? All seriousness aside, Happy New Year, guys, and let's kick some ass in 2015.
From the home of William Shatner, maple syrup, and socialized medicine. The 3 AmiVO's.
I have a cold, ladies
Sick
and gentlemen.
Dave. Thank you to Anne Ganguzza for being on the show. Awesome.
Annie was great, and I love her because she's inspiring and just makes me feel like I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not doing enough.
Well, that's exactly it. But you know what's so great about a lot of the guests we have on the show is they're all inspiring. I mean, at the end of each segment,
This is
you
true.
know, we have great guests on the show. Mm-hmm. And every time we're done, I'm like, God, I feel like I need to go out and do something more. Yep. And Anne was no exception.
And I love the fact that, again, yet another guest
Yeah.
who has a Canadian connection.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
Rochester,
Rochester, New
Americans.
York.
Dad Cherry! We're playing for the Americans. I did want to say, now, we still have to, we never got to your goal for the,
no.
but before you
already.
say that, so earlier this week, AmiVO, Garnet, and I were having a little chat, and we're talking about things that we do outside of the 3 AmiVOs.
Oh, you were
like with a cantaloupe and a microwave.
I don't even know what the fuck.
Well, I mean, AmiVO,
Okay.
Dave, you're a fantastic filmmaker.
No, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And if people haven't seen the work that Dave does, you should check it out.
Yeah, like
And it's
Star Wars sex.
That was awesome, by the way. You and Leah did great.
But I
It
mean,
was just, it was fun.
Yeah.
and I'll do the odd thing here and there that's outside of the 3 movies. And Garnet got a little. He got
Creative?
A little, no, he got a little testy about it. And what did you say? What did you say that I was? Who am I?
I can't remember now.
Oh, now he's playing dumb.
Now I do. I said he's off being the Phil Collins of the AmiVOs. It's like he's off doing his no jacket required and his
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's doing oh, I'm gonna go play drums on Band Aid. Oh, I'm gonna go play drums with Clapton. Oh, I'm gonna guest with the Who at Wembley. And then you know what? I feel like doing an AmiVO show. Come on, let's go get together and do We Can't Dance.
I can't walk.
That's what it's like.
So
And
now-
then he's gonna go off and do Sussudio again, and then he's gonna go. You know what? I feel like doing Illegal Alien. Let's go back together with Mike and Garnet, or Dave and Garnet.
So how did this come? No, wait. What the heck were you doing? That
What was it? What was my thing? Because
Oh, he was being
I wanted to start another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not enough of those.
Right. You wanted to do the radio podcast.
Yeah, I was going to do a radio podcast, which I think I might
But there was
do.
there was another VO podcast that he wanted to do.
He's
and then-
got that going
and
on.
then-
He's
and then
got
there was
him and the giant photos.
And yeah, it's just we're just over here waiting for you. Whenever you want to do the next Abacab.
At least you didn't say Buster.
Well, Mike's the star. He's busy. He's got all these things going on.
My goal, by the way.
Here we go.
Yeah, what the
My
hell
goal
is your goal?
is to be.
The best you can be.
Well, he's off. He's off doing his little. I don't know.
Is there Mike Rutherford joke here?
I was gonna say I'll be off doing my Mike and the Mechanics.
I know you too well. Wow, that's good. I can't top that. I can't top that.
Okay, boys, come on.
No, truthfully,
Garnet,
my,
it's 2015. What's your goal?
well, I really just.
Your voiceover goals. We don't give a shit about what you're doing in the
I
morning.
understand
but
that. I understand that. No, pretty much on par with like. My goals are your goals.
Oh.
Because like Michael, I'm very happy with some of the inroads that I've made in the last year south of the border. I'd like to continue doing that. But like you, Dave, I've had a couple of shows this year on Cottage Life, and I'd like to get more shows on other networks. I have yet to get a network and actually be the promo voice for a network. So that is definitely something I'd like to do, and just continue moving forward. Did some animation stuff this year that I'm quite proud of, or this past year that I'm quite proud of. So
We got to work together too.
Yeah. So
which was awesome.
So
Yeah.
keeping on that path.
Me excluded again. Go on.
Just keeping on that path and keeping the momentum going, I guess, is where I'm going. 2014 was a very good year. Personally,
I think it was a good year for us all.
personally, professionally, and with our little
socially.
our little collective here, and
Yes.
keeping all of that going the same way. Yeah.
Wait, no, that's Christmas, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in the Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I
thing.
saw.
Yeah.
All right.
The Voice Man with 2 N's.
.com.
.com.
DaveMcRae.ca.
You feel free to go to the website. You will not catch what Dave has. Just by clicking on
Yes,
the link.
that's right. And if you go to one or the other, you can get to one or the other.
Throaty McGravelly voice over there.
That's right.
Travel and Escape must love you right about now.
Travel and escape. They're now, but actually now, it's just T&E.
T&E.
Yeah. I'm pulling for TNA, but it's not, they're not going for it.
WilliamsVoiceovers.com.
Yes.
Yes. You can get me at mpvoiceovers.com. That's not changing in 2015.
Good. Yay.
You can always get a hold of us. Yes.
So whatever happened to allthingsmike.ca? Is that still around? No, I just want to bring it in.
Still redirected.
I want to at least mention it once
still
in 2015.
It's not the primary, so he's starting up a new website called occasionalthingsmike.ca.
But I bet you...
If you need to get a hold of us as a collective, the3amivos.com. You can also get us at the3amivos at gmail.com.
That's right.
That's it. And
That's
three,
right.
yeah. For Sick Dave to my left.
No way.
For Cantaloupe Joe in front of me here.
Ole!
I'm Amivo. I don't know what's going on anymore. But we bid you till the next time we meet a very hearty Ole!
We are finished. We are over. It's over.
The AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast has been brought to you by the 3 AmiVO's.
Show's over.
It was written, kinda, recorded, edited, and produced from deep within the Great White North by Dave McRae, Garnet Williams, and Mike Pongracz.
Are we going bye-bye?
For more AmiVO fun, questions, or comments, check us out online at 3amivos.com. On Twitter at the 3 AmiVO's. Until next